Went to this exhibition and I really enjoyed the artist. Like, his style is so unique and... What?
I think we need to talk.
Sure? What's wrong?
I think you've changed a lot.
What do you mean, changed?
It's hard to explain, but you just act differently. It seems that you are not that good old Anna anymore. I'm not saying this to quarrel with you, I just want you to be aware, so you don't lose yourself.
Okay, thank you, I guess.
I hope you're not offended or anything.
No, I'm fine.
I think I have to go already. Sorry, see you next time.
Okay, bye-bye, see you. Do I really act differently? And is it really that bad? Well, I suppose it is, so even that my friends notice it. But then, how do I bring my old self back? And do I have to? Have you ever questioned yourself if you're doing everything right? At that point, I was completely clueless about what I could do. What made me change? Have I changed in a good or a bad way? Should I regain my former self? I actually experienced this circumstance with a good friend of mine. That question caught me off guard because I thought I hadn't changed at all, and I thought well enough of myself. She was my friend, so I took her words to consideration. I returned home that day completely bowed down. I sat down and did the worst possible thing. I began to overthink. In addition, I started contrasting who I am today with who I was a couple of months ago because I thought I had changed badly, and therefore I didn't want to make my friend feel uncomfortable around me. I was more preoccupied with their comfort rather than with my own. I even decided at one point to resume my previous pursuits, but that did not endure for very long. I asked each of my friends to comment on whether I had changed in terms of behavior, routines, or attitude towards others, and one of them replied, "Why do you stress so much? People are always changing, every day or even every hour. Yet, your core stays the same. It's just something you can't control." After that, I came to the realization that all my useful overthinking had done for me was squander time and energy. Perhaps, while you listen to this story, you thought back to a time when something similar occurred to you. If no, then what if I say that all of you have experienced this, but in a different way, that some people didn't even recognize it? Toxic friends, fashion trends, parental control, beauty standards. You may ask, what do these have in common with each other and with my story? Restrictions. When your friend says that you were better in the past, it puts you in a template of your past self. It sets a boundary which says, you cannot change. When your parents are deciding for you what to do, they're stating, you cannot do it your own way. When society sets beauty standards, it puts masks on your faces. You cannot look any different. That's what they mean. When fashion sets trends, you can wear only this, otherwise you're tasteless. And surprisingly, we follow their commands. We don't want to lose a friend, disappoint our parents, be unattractive or out of trends. We mistakenly believe that happiness and acceptance of those we alter will make us happy. But sadly, this is not how things work. You should be aware that happiness on the outside does not equate to inner fulfillment and pleasure on the inside. Nothing outside can offer confidence, create happiness, or provide the sense of satisfaction. You are the one reacting to the outside stimuli in the way that makes you feel so. However, people must continue to stay within the limitations the world has established and let those boundaries guide their choices. Why? Fear. Fear as well as fear of regret. Fear of being judged because of your differences. But look at the person sitting next to you. Look at me. We're all different from birth. Not only from the outside, but from the inside too. So, why do we need to fear the difference and be ashamed of it? wear the same trendy clothes, make our faces look the same because of beauty standards, instead of emphasizing it and turning it into something that makes our individuality. You see, because of the differences in thinking, you will never be able to totally fit into someone else's standards. But you are the one who designed your life the way you want it to be, not the other person. What if I fail though? What if I subsequently come to regret my choices? Doubts. Let me give you an example. My friend and I had a great time together. We gave each other support and we were never bored around one another. However, long story short, her actions and words soon began to bother, annoy, and hurt me. We started arguing about everything, and I found myself increasingly considering breaking up with this friend. So eventually, I've made the decision to tell her. A couple of months later, I kept having second thoughts about my choice. But now I question why I should regret. I was certain of my decision at the time. Of course, looking back, I recognize my errors and I have learned more, but my old self didn't grasp all that. So she did what she felt is right. Then why should I doubt the feelings and the decisions of my past self? The result of that decision brought me peace and sense of synchronization with myself. And you see, as soon as you accept your true feelings and act according to your heart, you will stop regretting your choices. I was not afraid of the consequences. I was not afraid of what her friends or my friends are going to say about it. I was not afraid of what society calls loneliness. I was not afraid of all these boundaries around. I followed that one thought which came from within. And no matter how hard the decision was, I fully trusted myself. Because I'm lonely only then, when the last person I lose is the real me. However, how do we reach such freedom from limitations? Recently, a friend of mine approached me and asked for my opinion before changing her style in clothes and buying some unique ones. I started persuading her that if she did that, she would appear like an ordinary alt girl and her uniqueness will go. Then I paused. Why am I imposing these restrictions on her? Isn't this the way she attempts to express her uniqueness rather than hiding it? I stopped imposing my truth and let her make the decisions she felt were best for her. And this is where you start to change. When you start to step outside the box and gradually challenge limits, you will feel more liberated and understand when you're imposing boundaries on other people. You will realize it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal to how you see yourself and the world around you. Now let's get back to the story in the very beginning. Now that I reflect on it, I can see how I accepted the words my friend stated without questioning them or realizing how I really felt. And one more, I was afraid of change because I felt safe and secure in my bounds. However, this only led to the loss of my identity. Therefore, do not be afraid to push boundaries. Be the one to consider them from a different angle. Change and experiment, and through that, discover yourself. Thank you.